to put on the share screen. Share. All right, and then we're going to make sure we're in the right mode. Okay, here we go. It's always something when I get on Zoom. Why won't it? Oh, there it is, all the way at the bottom. It's not usually that far down. Okay, here we go. I got it now. Ms. Robinson got it. I think, no, yeah. Okay, there we go. All right, so let me admit these people off the waiting out of the admin room. Okie doke, so we are going to get started. It looks like it's on its own little mode thing, which should not be, but okay. So let's just go over some quick housekeeping rules. Please mute yourself so that everyone can hear. That just helps us. And so when you enter in, please just automatically mute yourself. We know 9 times out of 10, we have a lot of noise going on in the background. So if you mute yourself, that would be amazing. It helps me not to have to do that. And housekeeping rules, again, we will be using the chat box quite often. So stay tuned, keep your chat box open, keep your hands moving. This will be interactive at given points because I don't want to just talk to you, but I want to make sure you have everything you need and that you can move forward successfully to complete the FAFSA if that's how you choose to complete the FAFSA on your own or with us. Whatever way it is, we want to make sure you have what you need. So we are going to kickstart off and we are going to move right along. So who is Regina Robinson? For those of you who are just tuning in, I am the founder and CEO of Student for Success College Planning Services. I'm America's #1 college admissions advocate. I'm a multi-award winning speaker, author, and coach for high school students. You can see all of my accolades there. I am a graduate of Bowie State University, go Bulldogs. I graduated with my undergrad degree from there, and I am a graduate of Georgetown University with my master's degree, go Warriors. And so I'm super, super excited. I don't push students about college if I was not a college graduate myself. I am a former high school educator. I taught at Frederick Douglass High School, Dr. Henry A. Wise High School, and Duke Ellington School of the Arts. So some of my alumni students and kids or from those schools are here on the live. So I always get giddy when I see those names in the chat. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I have been successfully helping students navigate the college admissions process for over 15 years. I have helped students get over $25 million in scholarships and grants, and we are just getting started. We run college tours. We have our VIP College Bound coaching program for high school students. We have our scholarship membership, and we also have where we work with students who are also navigating off into college. We mentor college students as well. So as you can see, we have a plethora of educating students starting in 9th grade all the way through their college career for them to be able to successfully thrive, whether they're in high school or whether they're in college. Our goal is to make sure they have everything they need to be successful. So anything else you want to know about me, I promise you, you can read on my bio, but I don't want to bore you with all the extra details. So let's jump into talking about what we're going to cover tonight. So topics of discussion, of course, most importantly is going to be the FAFSA, but we are also going to be talking about scholarships. We are also going to be talking about loans, and we are going to be answering common questions that you have about the college process. So those are our 4 topic areas for tonight, and we're going to jump right in. So I want to kind of ask a question from everyone early on. I know you're like, uh-oh, she is not playing. She's coming out the gate with the questions. Yes. So I want to ask the question early on and find out from you, how many of you are familiar with the FAFSA? If so, put a 3 in the comment. And how many of you are like, I just don't know what they're talking about with this whole FAFSA thing, what it means, what it's going to do for me, what it's not going to do for me? Put a 4 in the chat. And so I will jump in the chat and see what kind of numbers are being posted, so we know exactly how to make sure you get everything you need tonight. So good. Some of you have probably multiple students, and so that's why you're kind of aware of the FAFSA, and others, this is your first time because you maybe only have 1 senior and you're like, oh my gosh, they're throwing all of this different information on me all at one time and I'm trying to figure it all out. Well, don't worry, you're in the right place. Remember, the FAFSA is a free application for federal student aid. It is a necessary requirement if students want to get any type of aid from the government based on need, and often require you to, if you're looking for need aid or government aid, you must have a FAFSA on file. It determines what you will get from schools. Now, does the FAFSA award you money? No, the FAFSA is a database. It collects your information and then it spools your information off to the colleges. But the FAFSA is where you need to actually complete so that they can get the necessary information from you. Okay, so please make sure you keep that in mind, that if you want to be considered for all aid, you need to complete your FAFSA. Okay, so don't say, oh, I'm not going to do the FAFSA, I won't get any money. That is not true. You want to do your FAFSA. The types of financial aid that we will discuss tonight are grants that come from the FAFSA, work study, and loans. So grants are free money. You do not have to pay it back. It's awarded on the basis of need, though. Work study is part-time employment to your student at their college to help meet their needs financially. And loans, of course, is borrowed money, and you must pay it back. So you only want to borrow what you need, not a dollar more when it comes to borrowing these loans. Okay, so again, financial aid puts you in the pocket for grants, work study, or loans. Those are the three things that it qualify you for once you complete that FAFSA form and it goes off to the colleges. The FAFSA application opens October 1st. Let me say that 2 more times, October 1st. October 1st, parents, not September 25th or September 30th or 28th, none of those days, just October 1st. If you hit that application any day before October 1st, that is not the application for your senior. And if you are on here and you're listening in early and you are not a senior, do not, I repeat, do not try and complete the FAFSA. That is not for you. It is only for graduating seniors class of 2023 when it opens on October 1st, and any college students who are currently already in college who must complete a renewal for that particular 2023-2024 school year. So please, please, please keep that in mind. Now, the FAFSA application, what do you need to complete the FAFSA when you get on? You need a username and password, which is a Fsa Id. If you have not already done that, you want to create that. It takes at least 3, sometimes 2 to 5 business days for them to actually verify it. And it must be verified in order for you to use it. You need your, well, let me stay on the Fsa Id one more time. So here's what I want to explain to parents and students. So please listen closely. The student must have their own ID assigned to their date of birth and their social security number. Parents, if you're 2 parents in a household, you must have 1 parent, only 1, create an ID as well, assigned to you as a parent, that parent's social security number and ID. I'm sorry, and date of birth. And so then if you have a former student that's high school graduate already in college and the parent already has an ID, the parent don't need to create a new ID. You can use that same ID for this child. However, remember, this new child must have their own ID and username. Please don't mix those things up, and please don't forget those things. You must have your W-2 forms, your current, not the year that's coming up, but you know the year previous, they always a year previous, your tax return, any Social Security or VA benefits, your bank statement, and your IRS database. So you are going to tap into the IRS database via your Social Security number, your date of birth, and all of your personal information. Once you do that, the IRS database will track and pull your information and populate it over into the actual application. So you won't have to do anything, but once you get in there, you really don't have to do anything. It will populate and push your information in the right spots for you. All right, next thing is, what does your FAFSA actually do? The minute you're done completing your FAFSA, A couple of days later, it will spool your student aid report. So you can log right back into your account and you'll see your student aid report where it lists all the schools that you are applying to, and it will go to your school. Now, there are some scholarships that are private scholarships that will ask you, can you, okay, provide a student aid report? Now you know what that means, but they're most likely going to say SAR report, the acronym Student Aid Report. You can log into your FAFSA, print that out as a PDF, as a document, and you can send that and attach that right to the scholarship application. So please note, anytime someone's asking you for a student aid report, you access that through your actual FAFSA application portal. Every state has a deadline for completing the FAFSA. Because I know somebody's saying, okay, Ms. Robinson, it opens on October 1st, but I still got to handle some things. What's the last day I can do this? March 1st, if you live in the state of Maryland. Now, if you live in the state of Virginia, if you live in the state of New York, if you live in the state of New Jersey, you live in the state of North Carolina, you have to look up what's your date. I only provide what's the state of Maryland, and it's March 1st, but you will need to look up your date to see when is your FAFSA deadline. Now, let's say your student lives in Maryland, right? March 1st is their deadline. Let's say your student is applying to schools in North Carolina. You want to kind of know their deadline date too, because you don't want to mess around and their deadline date might be before March 1st. So you want to make sure you are checking all of your avenues and crossing your T's and dotting your I's, okay? Once you complete the FAFSA goes to each college you have on your list. Now, here's what's important. You can only put 10 colleges in the FAFSA, 10. So parents, if your student is talking about applying to 20 and 30 schools, where are they going to get a financial aid award letter from? FAFSA goes to the college, which then gives you a financial aid award letter. Financial aid award letters is important so that you can make a decision of whether you can afford a school or not, okay? So please, 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 please make sure that your student understands that 10 colleges is well over enough. The national average is 5 to 7 colleges. Any students that's in our, well, IVIP college bound, shining stars is what we call them. They are only allowed to do 5 to 7 schools, and the maximum they can do 10 is on their own to go up to 10. But please, you can only put 10 in the FAFSA. What happens is when you put more, you have to move schools out of the FAFSA and then replace them with other schools. Now, what the danger of that is, if you're, let's just use Townsend as an example. Let's say you had Townsend in your colleges and you removed them, and Townsend wasn't done completely processing you, and they go back looking for information, you remove them. So to them, it looks like you are no longer considering their school, so they don't need to do an award letter for you. So please remember, 10 schools is well over enough. 5 to 7 is the national average anyway. Someone says, is it important that you apply October 1st? So here's the analogy that I always give. Money at colleges are given out on a first come, first served basis. So please don't wait until the last minute to complete your FAFSA. Yes, there's the FAFSA is open all the way to June, but March 1st is the deadline for Maryland. And so why wait till you get close to that? Get your information in as soon as possible. So I always say, if you can do it October 1st, great, do it October 1st. If you're not ready October 1st, please try and get it done by Thanksgiving. That gives you a really, really good chance. And then if you are just trying to close up the gap on some tax information, try and do it at least by Christmas, no later. So that, listen, remember I just said first come, first serve basis when it comes to money. Don't miss out on money that you could have possibly received, and now you actually have to pay for it. So who will determine the money you receive? The financial aid office of the college you are looking at by looking at your FAFSA. All schools will send an award letter. Now, here is my message to my families. So I am treating you as if you are one of my VIP Shining Star families. I'm going to walk you through what an award letter looks like so you're not surprised come April, February, March, and April when they start coming in the mail, depending on how fast your child is applying to schools. So here's what a financial aid award letter from a school looks like. Now, is it all going to look like this? No. Some of them will look a little different. Some will be less detailed. Some will be even more detailed. The estimated cost of attendance for this school is $55,000. Tuition and fees is $39,000. Now this is what's gonna, this is them breaking down what accumulates to $55,000. Housing and meals is $13,000. Books and supplies is $1,000, so that's an estimate. Personal and miscellaneous $2,000, that's an estimate. So they're giving you an estimate of $55,000 is what it's going to cost for that school. I know some of you are shocked to see that number so high, but believe it or not, that number goes all the way up to $75,000, $80,000 for different schools. So here's what a reality of what it's going to look like on the cost of schools these days. Most families on a given day is spending at least $10,000 out of pocket to educate their students. So financially, you want to get ready. Now, is there some families spending $0 out of pocket? Because most people think that that's not true. That is very true. My daughter is a junior at McDaniel College in Westminster, Maryland, and we have not paid $0 for 3 years. So that is very true. There are a lot of students who are getting full opportunity at different schools, but there is students who are not, and on the average, they are putting out at least $10,000 per year. So this particular student is going to receive the President's Scholarship, a very big scholarship. So that means they have really good grades. It equal to $20,000 for the year. They're going to get a federal Pell Grant from the state. Let's just say this is the state of Maryland, from the state of Maryland for $1,200. They're going to get the Opportunity Grant, which is $1,000 from the state. Now, none of these things are due back. This is free money to this student. Okay. Then they have a state scholarship that's going to be $900, and the student must accept that state scholarship, right? So that President's Scholarship, Pell Grant, and SEOG is automatically on their account. That state scholarship, they have to accept it, and it's for $900. Now notice the color changes again. This is all borrowed money. That means you must pay every penny back with interest. Federal work study, oh wait, let me not say that, not yet, because they do put the federal work study under this particular category. Now, federal work study money is not due back. That is money your child will get, but here's what that means. Some colleges give your students the money directly. If they give the money to your student directly and you were banking on that $3,000 to cover some of the $55,000, and your student doesn't take that money and turn it in, $3,000 will be a balance on your bill. You will be wondering why. And the reason will be is because they were working federal work study and they didn't turn the money back in. So please keep that in mind. If they're doing federal work study, that's really some like pocket money for them, because a lot of times the kids are not turning the money back in. Okay, so please remember that. The next is the federal Perkins loan, which gives $2,500. The federal Stafford loan is subsidized, $3,500. Federal Stafford loan unsubsidized, $2,000. All of that is borrowed money. Parents, please don't borrow more than you need, because the interest rate can be a deficit for you. So you only need to borrow what you need. So that's all you have to worry about spending back, or paying back rather. And the schools will let you know exactly what you need to borrow. So there'll be no misunderstanding of what it is that you need to borrow. So this is what a financial aid award letter looks like. Now, the next category we said we would talk about is scholarships. So what about scholarships? Scholarships are free money that's given out to students based on the criteria of whatever that scholarship program is looking to assign it from. So sometimes it's based on various criteria of values, purpose, community service, founders, and depending on if your parents are members of an organization, those are reasons why scholarships are and how they are awarded. And so there are so many scholarships out there, but students miss out on applying, not because they don't want to. Most of them don't know where to find them. So here are different types of scholarships. You have your Senate, well, I was starting in the middle. You have, I'm going to start in the middle because I want to come back and spend more time on merit. You have private scholarships, which are different organizations and different like companies or different law firms. Those are all different things that offer private scholarships. Then you have financial need-based scholarships, which come from, again, completing the FAFSA, or an organization might be giving out a scholarship, but it's need-based, meaning your parents can't make over a certain amount in order for you to qualify and apply. Then you have your senatorial scholarships. In the state of Maryland, and I'm sure this is other states, offer senatorial scholarships, offer delegate scholarships. We just need to apply for them. We need to call and ask when the application's open, when they're going to close it, so you can make sure your children get in their applications. Bank scholarships, legislative scholarships, department stores where we spend our money. So we all know we like to shop. And so some of the places that you are shopping actually offer scholarships. Kohl's, Macy's, you have Foot Locker, just to name a few. Like, there are scholarships. Some of you drink Coke soda. Coca-Cola offers scholarships. So there are scholarships out there that you can tap into and that you can gain money from. And remember, scholarships are what? Free money. There are also sororities and fraternities that offer scholarships. You want to tap into that, and you do not have to be a part of the sorority or fraternity, and your parents do not have to be a part of the sorority or fraternity for you to apply. And then your church, if you attend a church regularly or have done community service for a church, you want to check in and see if that church actually offers scholarships, and if so, you want to apply. Now, a lot of these particular scholarships on here are not renewable for 4 years. So this is a bonus to you. They are not renewable for 4 years. So what does that mean? You want to make sure you're not adding that money in every year, and then when that year comes, you're at a deficit. So let's say you get AKA scholarship for $2,000. Well, that is probably a 1-year scholarship. So the next year, where are you going to get that $2,000 from? Are you going to get another scholarship? That's necessary if you don't have that $2,000 saved, or otherwise your bill will go up. And then that means your budget changes. Keep in mind, every college raises their tuition every year, almost every college. So you're also dealing with that increase in cost as well as you may be losing the scholarships that are not renewable every 4 years. Last but not least, merit aid. Why did I say that to last? Because that is the most important in my mind. That is the most important for all of my VIP scholars and shining stars. That is what we rely on. What does merit aid mean? That means the school is looking at your child's grades and test scores only. They don't care how much money you make, parents, and income. They are focused on your students' grade and academic scholars. They're scholars. So you saw in the financial aid award letter where it talked about the president's scholarship, that's merit. That student got that money, and there's no reason for them to take it back regardless of what they see on your FAFSA. That money belongs to the students, but it's based on their GPA and test scores on how much they will be rewarded. So to me, merit aid is the first way you fund your college education. Then you look at private scholarships. Then you're doing your FAFSA. Then last but not least, you are looking to parents, we are looking to come out of our account in whatever we pay monthly or pay it all in full. That's how you should be looking to pay and fund your child's education. Now I'm gonna break down what merit looks like even closer. So this is a screenshot from my online system. And what this screenshot shows is that you have the opportunity to look at how a school sees and perceives you. What does that mean? That means you are, wait a minute, I just want to make sure we don't have. Okay, so that means we are actually looking at what their GPA is and what their test scores. So this particular school's average GPA is a 3.59. The student who is applying here has an average cumulative GPA of a 3.5. So they're in the 22 percentile of that particular school, but a lot of kids come in percentile below them and a lot come above them as well. So with this particular range, and then this student having test scores, their math is 570, their writing is 520, and their reading is off the chart of 620. So with the GPA and test scores, How many people, and put it in the chat, believe that this student would get merit aid? Put in the chat merit. Just put the word merit if you believe they would get merit aid. Okay, good. So everybody agrees that they would get merit aid. Absolutely. This particular student will receive merit aid from this particular school. This gives them the opportunity to already have some money at the top. Merit aid award starts anywhere from $5,000 to up to $30,000. And some schools have the power to give more. So the merit aid is a huge facet. That's why you hear me say that is the main focus that we focus on with our students and them applying to college. Their school's list is based off of where they are with financial aid. Where are they ending up? Where are they balanced at? That is what we are looking for, and that is what we are focused on for merit aid. That's important because that's where the money is. Now, if this student had been, let's say this student, so you see they have ACT, so we would already know the student wouldn't provide their ACT scores. Why? They're not high enough. So they would submit their SATs. Let's say the SATs were all over here. The blue, these numbers is the student's numbers, was all over here. If that was the case, my recommendation to that student would be go in based off of your academic GPA and don't worry about submitting your test scores. Do test optional. See? So there's a method to all of it, but you have to have that method. So this is just giving you a more in-depth of what that means for merit aid. Now, if you are on, you want to take a screenshot of this. This is different scholarship resources, databases, fastweb.com, Scholarship America, CKSF, Brooks Scholars, Zinch, Dell Scholars, CAPEX, UNCF. And if you're an athlete, of course, you have to be on the NCAA website, making sure you are following all guidelines and all rules. If you are family and you know applying to scholarships is not your thing, finding them is not your thing, you don't have the time, you don't want to try and figure it all out, then guess what? We have a scholarship membership. And we do not mind sharing that. That scholarship membership is literally only $20, $19.97 a month. You can join monthly for $19.97. You can get in and get out as you see fit. However, it is a scholarship database, and you are more than welcome to subscribe to that membership. Brain will drop that link in the chat for you. You can click it, put it in your URL, open it up on your computer, you'll have it. You can look at more information about it. But our goal is to make sure students get as much financial aid and scholarships as possible. And we know students are not finding them, and we know they don't know necessarily where to look for them. So we want to make sure they have that information. Our Shining Stars apply to scholarships every single month because they get a list from us. You too can get that same exact list. So a student loan, what is loans? Remember, we're going to talk all things loan. A student loan is a type of loan designed to help students pay for post-secondary education, but there are fees attached to loans, okay? And so you can't get past those fees, you can't get past those interest rates, and so you want to make sure you are, that's why I said it was so important to only borrow what you need. So of course, I'm trying to slide this thing out of the way. All right, what type of loans are there? There are several different loans. Federal Stafford loans, which are student loans that must be repaid. So I can't leave that part off because I never want a family to think they don't have to pay for loans. They must be repaid. First year undergraduates are eligible for up to $5,500. And that amount increases every year they are in college. But for now, it's only $5,500 their first year. So you know that's all you can actually qualify for. Subsidized Stafford loan is a loan for which the government pays you interest while you are in, pays your interest while you are in school during grace periods and during any deferment periods. Repay 6 months, you repay 6 months after you graduate. It's your this particular loan is in the student's name only. So it's the student's responsibility to pay this loan. Then you have the unsubsidized Stafford loan, a loan for which you are responsible for paying the interest the entire time your child is in school. It accrues interest. Now, do you have to pay it? No, it can just keep accruing, accruing, and accruing, or you can find out what that interest amount is, and they will allow you to make a payment every month so that that interest is not accruing. So they give you those options, accrue it or not accrue it. Then, of course, you have to repay it after 6 months after you graduate from college, and it is 100% the student's responsibility. Parent Plus loans, 100% the parent's responsibility. It's a loan, it's unsubsidized, and it's the parent responsibility. You cannot obtain a loan plus loan based. The way you attain a plus loan is based on your credit check. Students may be eligible to borrow additional unsubsidized loan resources if you are denied a Parent Plus loan. Parent Plus loan interest rates vary based on your credit check and what you're borrowing. So you would have to actually deal with the bank and the loan provider that you are looking to get the information from in order to actually know what it would be and what it will cost you in interest and how much to pay back, okay? Now, here are some common questions that families are asking. We make too much money to qualify for a Pell Grant. Still, should I file a FAFSA? Absolutely. Here's why I tell every family to apply for the FAFSA. If school has money that's maybe endowment or funding money that they can only give out based on the FAFSA, and you do not complete the FAFSA and your child qualifies for that money, guess what happens? You don't get that money. They're not going to call you or email you and tell you, oh, we have this great scholarship, Ms. Robinson, that we want to give your child, but we need you to complete the FAFSA. They're not going to do that. So please, parents, I don't care how much money you make, complete the FAFSA. You don't know what it will offer you and what opportunities it will afford you for your student to get into their college and afford their school. So please make sure you complete it. Do I have to register with selected service? This is for young men. There's a question on the financial aid that says, would you like for us to register you for selected service? Say yes, so that they can do it for you, so that you don't have to go through all the steps on your own, because you must do it. So you want to just go ahead and make sure you get it done, and they will do it for you. So please, please, please make sure you allow them to do it for you. It just saves you so much trouble, okay? Next, my parents are separated / divorced. Which parent's financial information should I include? Which parent provides over 75% of your living expenses? Or if you have both parents, which parent makes the least amount of money? You figure it out and you make it work. That's all Ms. Robinson gonna say about that, but you figure it out amongst the family members, okay? And make sure you make it work. But you do not have to put them both as the parent that you live with the most within the past 12 months too. And so both parents 50% of the time, then you pick the one who provided the most support. There is some way to say who's given the extra amount somehow or another. The next common question is, I am a high school student and a single mother living on my own. Should I seek independence so I can receive more aid, or should I include my mother's information? If you have a child and you are independent and you are on your own, you are automatically declared dependent. So you would put you are independent. Should we wait until our taxes are done before we complete the FAFSA? Yes, you can't do it without it. So you must make sure. So if you were late filing your FAFSA, please, please, please get it done now that you know. Make sure you go and call your tax preparer tomorrow morning and get your get your taxes completed, because it will take time and you need it in order to complete your child's FAFSA. What does expected family contribution mean, and where do you see that at? When you complete the FAFSA and it is done, it'll give you this little summary page. On that summary page, it'll say EFC, expected family contribution. This is what they say you can they expect that you have to contribute to your child's education. So the formula is established by law. It's nothing you can do. Your family's tax and untaxed income, assets, and benefits are considered in the formula. Also, the size and the family amount of family members are considered. So again, it will tell you what your EFC is. Now, someone's going to say, well, Ms. Robinson, what happens if my EFC is 0? Does that mean they think I can't pay for anything and they're going to give my son or daughter all the money? No. Just because you get a 0 does not mean you will get all the money. Please do not assume that. That is not what that means. That just means they are going to look at that, consider that, but that does not mean they are going to give you a full ride. Here's some bonus information. And so I want to give you these tips because I know that not every family on here is a part of our VIP Shining Stars. So I want to make sure you do have some additional insight that's going to help you in making sure what I say, how it is in my book. If you don't have my book, it's amazing. Plug on the book. You see it on all the slides, Winning the Game of College Admissions. So these are areas that we cover in there. These are areas and tools that we give in there. So when you are looking at a school, when your children are looking and choosing their list, please parents note that they are not, and I repeat, not looking at the cost of college. They're just not doing it. So that is where you come in. Please be looking at the cost of college. Please know the parameters of what you're expecting to pay and work with them in those parameters. Apply for scholarships through your college and department. That is a huge bonus. Here's what I know. Don't just apply to schools. Don't just apply for the college and you don't apply for the department college scholarships if they have them. So let's say you're interested in psychology. Does the psychology department offer scholarships? Okay, you want to make sure you know that. And so some colleges offer scholarships, grants, or work study to incoming students. Now I have one more bonus to add to this, but when I say this is an extra bonus, this is an extra bonus because only I tell my clients this. I don't usually share this in Masterclasses. So if you want me to share this extra information, I need enough bonus types in the chat for me to feel like I should give up this bonus, because this is worth the whole night. If this is all you get all night, this is worth the whole night. Because I only share this with my clients in a private, that they're privately directed and working with me. So, all right. So most of your students are going to apply to their college. Now, this is important, students. Listen to this. Spool me, listen, take quick mental notes when I give you this spiel. You should be calling your college that you're applying to and asking, I applied, does my application to the college qualify me for all scholarship money? Because just because you apply to the college, some colleges have scholarships separate from their actual application. And it might be somewhere on their website. And if you're not the due diligent researcher, you will miss that, right? So you want to call and ask each one of your schools. So see how this makes a difference when you have 5 to 10 schools as opposed to 20 and 30 schools. That's a lot of phone calls. You want to call and ask the college, does my application qualify me for all scholarships? They will say yes or no. If they say no, now I'm doubling up on the bonuses. You're going to counter offer this conversation to them. Can you please tell me exactly where I can find how to apply for the scholarships on your website? I'm on my computer right now. And you want them to take you directly to that page while you're on the phone. You don't want to have to look for it on your own and then you can't find it, because that's money. And that's what? Free money. So you want to make sure they can get it to you, and you want to make sure you can gain access to it. So that's your bonus. Don't forget to follow that step. That step is important. And then you can take it a step further and find out and call your actual department, which is, let's say, psychology. You'll call and find out, do you offer any scholarships in the psychology department for incoming freshmen? They'll say, oh yes, we have one right on our website. Here's what you have to do. Or we pull from the application pool, we see what the students offer and have, and we offer them extra additional money. Those are important things, because if you don't ask, the money won't be given to you, but you can best believe somebody else is asking. So you want to make sure you're asking as well. Parents, please take time to compare all financial aid packages before making a decision. You saw the financial aid award letter. That is what I'm referring to. Please make sure you are actually looking at each award letter before you make that final decision. Know what financial documents your schools require. Some schools only require the FAFSA, and some schools require the FAFSA and the CSS profile. So please, parents, make sure you are checking. Students, make sure you are checking, and it will tell you on the school's website. Another bonus, if your family dynamics change after filing the FAFSA, make the necessary changes so that your information is honest and up to date. If one of your parents lose or both of your parents lose income or become unemployed, you need to update your information because your aid can actually change. When you get information from colleges, read all documents in their entirety. Now, documents means paper, but you know these days it does not mean paper. They're going to email you mostly everything. Please read every email in its entirety and follow all steps that they are requiring of you. Students, now more than ever, you should be checking your email every day, at least twice a day, because that is how colleges are going to communicate with you. They're not going to call you. They're not going to most likely send a bunch of stuff in the mail, but they are going to email you quite often. Some colleges don't even send acceptance letters in the mail. They actually accept you, guess what, either via their portal or they accept you via your email. Make sure you're checking your spam and your regular inbox. Parents, have a discussion with your student about refund checks. So let's say your student winds up having extra money and they're going to receive a refund check. I don't know about you, but I made sure my daughter knew that refund check better be mailed home so we can put it in the bank in case some semester comes around and we're not getting fully paid for, so that you can use that refund check. So parents, make sure you talk to your children about refund check, because the school will ask them, should I give it to you or do you want it mailed home to your parents? Well, what do you think they're going to say? Give it to me, because they don't, and it's a lot of money sometimes. And so they don't know what to do with that money. If they're anything like we were when we were in college and we got those refund checks, we ran straight to the mall and spent it all in one day. So we want to make sure they're not spending all of theirs in one day. Now, I know I told you early on, there is money out there. I promise you there is money out there. We have helped our students get over $25 million in scholarships and grants. This is not a cliche. This is real deal. And so the money is out there. You just have to make sure you commit to supporting your students in finding scholarships and applying to scholarships and making sure they are completing scholarships. And again, we give you that resource by providing you with the scholarship membership. It's $19.97. All you have to do is apply. The link was put in the feed, but you need to make sure your students are doing scholarships, because your students, and how do I know this? Because I ask when I go and speak at all these schools, how do you think you're going to pay for college? And the first thing they say is my parents. So parents, remember, they think we're rich because we get them everything they want, when in reality, we are not rich. And so some of you need to still have that conversation to make sure your children know that you are not rich and that you have bills. And so they need to understand that. So I know some of you are saying, this is too much, help me. This is a lot of FAFSA information. I don't even know about these forms. Heck, I don't even do my own tax returns. So how in the world am I going to be able to complete this FAFSA? What are we going to do? My child is a senior now, and it is fast approaching, and it is behind, right on top of us, the whole process. Help me. So if that's you and if you feel that way, type help in the chat, because we are going to help you. We are going to make sure you have everything you need. So if that's you, type help in the chat, and then I'm going to start looking to see if there's questions in the chat. But if that's you and you feel like you need help with the FAFSA, just type help in the chat, and we're going to continue giving you resources and information. We do assist families with completing the FAFSA. We do not leave you to try and do it on your own. If you are in need of support to complete the FAFSA, we are there to do just that and support you and help you. Now, some of you are saying, oh, we have to pay for it. Absolutely, because it's time out of my schedule for me to have to actually help you complete the FAFSA. I want to share a story with you briefly about, sometimes it doesn't even matter when you have people right underneath you. So I had in the past 2 families who were a part of my Shining Star. And so in that, we had where that particular family, right, had a, what would we call it? Somebody's on the screen. If you're moving around, it's going to type on the screen, so be careful. We had it where we had this particular family was completing the FAFSA, and they decided to do it on their own. We support our families, but they decided they were going to do it on their own. And so they completed the FAFSA, and then they reached out to the financial aid office to find out why they got absolutely nothing. And so the financial aid office says, well, you make over $250,000 a year as a collective family. So the parents were like, well, wait a minute, we don't make that much money. Where did you get that from? And the the financial aid office person said it was in your FAFSA, that's what you wrote. And so the parents had doubled their income, both of them, on the FAFSA because they were not aware, they were not familiar, and they were trying to wing it and do it. And so had they not even called, they wouldn't have caught the mistake. And even though they caught the mistake and updated, FAFSA was already done for that particular season. So they weren't going to get any more extra money for that year, but they knew now the next year not to mess it up. So can I tell you, they're not going to call you and tell you it looks like you have an error on your FAFSA. And most times, 9 times out of 10, you might not know, because you might just assume, okay, I made too much money and they just didn't give me anything. Second family was, I was working with another family, and the parent, the student, and myself started the FAFSA. I said, okay, let's wait because we still need to get some more information. So I had the parent looking for the information. When she got the information, she completed the FAFSA, but there were other areas we had not done. So what she did was included money that her daughter got from a trust from an aunt when an aunt passed away. She included that. And because she included that, it made her lose $20,000 in free money because she included that. And she couldn't go back. Once you include it, you can't go back now and all of a sudden say, oh, I didn't mean to put that. If you didn't care, I'd put that. So she lost $20,000. I share this because I don't want you to make mistakes on completing the FAFSA because you try and wing it and do it by yourself. It's not an easy app. It is kind of confusing in certain areas where it's easy for you to double your income, or it's easy for you to put money in that you shouldn't put in, so that you can get the most maximum back in your awards from schools. And so that is why we are here to help you get past those things and make sure you fill out the form correctly. I tell parents all the time, please don't worry about me knowing your financial information, because first of all, I can't see it because it comes through the retrieval. And so I can't see it. And even if I did see it, I won't remember within 2 minutes because I have another parent probably coming right behind you completing their FAFSA. I file over 40 parents' FAFSAs every year. So I definitely don't remember your income, and I don't actually care about your income. I just care about supporting you and making sure you get the most money you can for your child so that you don't have to go into debt funding your child's education. That's key, that's important. So we are going to put the links, Rain, you can put the links inside of the feed. If you're interested, if you're a single household, it's only $150 of an investment. If you are a married household, it's $200 of an investment. Why? It takes more time to do a 2-parent household than it does to do a single parent household. We do it via Zoom. It's approximately 1 hour. Most of the time, it doesn't even take that hour. And so you can book a time on my calendar. My calendar is already filling up with all of my previous year parents and all of my clients, so you can get in and get yours done also. So what questions do you have so that I can answer your questions? And so I'm going to go through and see if there's questions I missed. And if you have questions, you can come off of mute and ask a specific question if you don't want to chat it in the chat box. Anything done differently when returning for sophomore year in FAFSA? No, you still have to do it, but unless you change something with your income, you still need to do it just like you did it the freshman year. For the documents needed to complete the FAFSA, do we need just our checking and saving statements or investment statements too? They are going to ask about that, but remember, so this is a side nugget. You take from it what you take from it. The FAFSA only knows what they can see on the IRS. That's all I'm going to leave you. Now, if we work together to do it, I'll give you all the secrets, but that's all I'm going to leave you on this live masterclass with. If the FAFSA only knows what you put in your actual tax return. I set up a FAFSA account in August. Do I need to go back in October to start over? Absolutely. If you did the FAFSA in August, you did not do the FAFSA. And we call admissions and ask this question. Yes, you call admissions and ask the question that I mentioned earlier. Absolutely. What if your income has changed, decreased from the income reported your previous tax return? How do you relate that in the FAFSA? So remember, they're only looking at right now that previous year. You can contact the colleges when it's done when your child applies to those schools and get accepted. You can contact the financial aid office and talk to them about the fact that your income has decreased. Now, what does that mean? That means that if your income has decreased, then they might do some adjustments, but you would have to talk directly to them. Let's see if I missed anything. I already answered that one. I'm scrolling all the way back up. So if your question is at the bottom, give me a chance. I'm going to come back down to the bottom. Okay. Let's see what I missed. Okay. If I am remarried, do I need to include my husband's income? No, it shouldn't make you include their income. Can you use 2021 taxes for October 1st this year? Sorry if I missed this. 2021. Wait a minute, I always get mixed up by the year. So whatever taxes you filed when it opened last January, when the whole tax season opened and closed, that's the tax return only that they use. At what point is a child independent? A child is only independent if their parents are deceased and they're a ward of the court. That is the only time they're independent, and if they have their own child, meaning they have a child. If I need to complete my taxes for 2021 before I can complete my FAFSA, would I still be able to make an appointment to have you help file the FAFSA for my child? Yes, you just have to get your taxes done first. Once you do your taxes, wait at least 30 days and then schedule your appointment. So let's say you call your tax preparer tomorrow and they do your taxes on Friday. Go to my calendar and book 30 days from Friday so that we can make sure your taxes are in the IRS database. So we should fill out the FAFSA application and a whole bunch of separate scholarship applications. Absolutely. Should I complete the Common App and FAFSA? The Common App and FAFSA are two different things. They have nothing to do with each other. The Common App are applications for you to get into college and apply to colleges. The FAFSA is your financial aid award letter that is associated with that, meaning it's a database that collects your information, spews it to all of your colleges that you entered into the Common App so that you can get an award letter. As always, thanks for being such a blessing. Talk to you soon. Hugs. Yes, thank you. You're welcome. If for the 2021 year only one parent was working, then how do you put this in the FAFSA? If the parent was, then that means that was all the income that showed on the actual, on your tax return. If only one parent was working, then that means one parent's income was on the tax return. Hello, Regina. I need your help to get this application done or within 2 to 3 days. So yeah, so you can check my calendar to see what times and availability I still have around those days you're looking for. I will do my taxes in January, and my daughter received this year, and not sure she will file separately versus me claiming this year. Got to talk with my tax man. Can you share anything on how this would affect eligible FAFSA? So here's the deal, parents, and I'm going to be very vulnerable and share my own personal story. So kids don't make a lot of money working these little part-time jobs that they're making. They have up until 2 years to file taxes on those little jobs they have. But if they file taxes on their jobs, if they file taxes, you have to include their income. So they can, listen, that little $400 or $500 they're going to get, absolutely not. We almost got messed up because I let my daughter file her taxes and it pushed us over the limit. Had the government went back and changed something, we wouldn't have gotten this award that we get every year. So parents, listen, it's not worth it. They don't have to file taxes. And then they have 2 years up until to file taxes on those years. So that was answering Lynette. That was giving you, I'm sorry, that was giving you more, Miss Valerie, that was a little bit for you and everyone else who's listening.
Yeah, because it's much more than that. So I can't get around it.
So you're saying she made over the amount of what a minor can make?
Yeah, she received an annuity, grandmother.
Yeah, but that's not a job, that's annuity.
It's still a large amount.
Do you have to file taxes on it?
Yeah, fortunately.
Okay, so it'll go into your tax numbers, and when they ask about that, it'll go down, but it's not her like filing taxes. It's an annuity, so it's her actually getting money, but again, it's on a separate line.
Yeah, because I was going to talk to my tax guy because he was saying he can do something like maybe I don't claim her and then let her do a separate or vice versa. You know what I mean? I don't know.
She's still, but in order for her to complete the FAFSA, she can't be independent though. So she still would have to have a parent. There's no way for her to be independent because you're still living. So because she's getting that annuity money, it does not allow her to say, I want to now be independent so it can work better for me. That's not how it works.
Okay, so the bottom line is I gotta put it there. I gotta include it, right?
And well, yeah, the tax guy got to find the best way to implement it so that it benefits you guys because she's getting ready to go off to college.
Well, she's there using it.
Oh, she's already there. She's going to be a sophomore.
Yeah, she's using it now. So that's what I'm saying, coming up.
So she already got it when she was for her freshman year and you had already did her FAFSA then.
Right.
Remember, this application is for her sophomore year.
Okay, so she recently received it.
Oh, so within the year account. Okay. So she received it within that year account. It will only alter it for 1 year though. She'll go back to the same way next year if she's not going to keep getting this money every year.
No, she received it like August of this year.
Okay, so yeah, so it'll wind up having to go on there if you have to file taxes on it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Regina, it's Nikki. Regina, hey, you just mentioned the minimum, like for the students that they've been working. What is that minimum income?
I don't know that minimum amount, but you can look it up. It's out there, but there is a minimum amount. My tax preparer always knows the amount. So I don't know the actual minimum amount. Okay. My accountant always tells me, but it's out there. And there is a minimum. If they don't make over that, they don't have to actually file their taxes anyway.
Got it. Okay.
Someone says, does the parent, you're welcome. Someone says, does the parent and student apply for FAFSA? Everyone, please hear me on this. No, the student applies for FAFSA. The parent's information goes in the student's application. The parent's Fsa Id allows for the application to be signed by them as an adult. There is one application under your student's name, date of birth, and social security number. Please don't, I don't know how many parents get that mixed up and then they call me because they tried to do it on their own. And then we got to put out 20 fires in order to get them to even complete the FAFSA. So parents, please, your student is the application. You are just a signer. So please, 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 if you are not sure, you want to be booking a session for sure, because you don't want to mess that up because it takes weeks for them to fix you trying to go in and have an app and your child have an app. They got to dismantle them both and then you have to start over. It is a nightmare. So please don't do that. Does your scholarship program apply for juniors in high school too? So our scholarship membership is a database where we send out scholarships. It's a spreadsheet. It's broken into 3 categories. All high school students, because there are scholarships for 9th graders, 10th graders, 8th graders, 7th graders, 6th graders, all students. Then there's a section for seniors only, meaning they're graduating that year. And then there's a section for college students. So all 3 of those categories are on our scholarship membership. What is the CSS profile? It is another financial application that some colleges require, mostly upper level tier Ivy League schools require the CSS profile. Now, I'm not gonna go totally into that, but what I can tell each and every one of you who are stuck having to do a CSS profile, it is a beast because they want way more information than the FAFSA does. So if you're gonna reach out and you find out you need a CSS profile and you wanna come to Ms. Robinson for me to help you, it costs way more than the FAFSA filing because they ask way more questions than that. It takes a lot of time on that application, so prepare yourself. When do we apply for separate scholarships? Should it be senior year of high school or start sooner if we have a junior? You can start applying for scholarships as early as elementary school. If you are filing now, please e-file as opposed to mailing. Yes. If you are going to do your taxes, please do not mail. Whoever your tax preparer is, do not allow them to say, do you want to mail or e-file? You absolutely want to e-file or you will not make that FAFSA process early enough or in time, and you definitely don't want to miss March 1st if you're a Maryland parent. If I'm married, but not to my daughter's father, do I need to include my husband's taxes? No, you don't. So you don't have to. Regina, I may have missed this. Are you able to create the FAFSA profile before? Yes, so no. Okay, let me make sure I clear this up. You are able to create your FAFSA ID and PIN before October 1st. That is just your FAFSA ID and PIN, which is necessary, right? It's extra necessary for you to complete before October 1st because it needs to be validated. Don't book an appointment with Ms. Robinson, wait to get on the appointment, and then say, oh, Ms. Robinson, I didn't know you said we needed an ID. Girl, ma'am, yes, I said it 1,000 times. You can't complete your FAFSA without it. So that's for any of you. Please don't sit down at your computer and try and do it without it. You cannot complete the FAFSA until you have a validated FAFSA ID for the parent and the student. How does a 529 prepaid impact FAFSA? It doesn't usually. They will ask on there about information that you have and you just input it, but it usually doesn't. Well, in the past, parents have said it does not affect them. On
Hey,
the
Regina,
application, yes.
regarding the PIN, that PIN number, once you create that same PIN, that PIN is the same PIN that you'll use for their sophomore year. You don't have to recreate one, correct?
Yeah, so if you already have a college student, you do not recreate a PIN to do renewal, and you do not recreate a PIN when your additional children come along. You have that same PIN. It does not need to be changed for your second, third, or fourth child.
Got it.
You use the same one.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Ms. Monique said on the application, do I say I'm not married if I remarry? You can say remarried. I mean, you can say married, but you guys filed separately. So it's not a whole remarried or married. It asks you on there, it gives sub questions on there. Just to clarify, you get a FAFSA username and password, not a PIN, correct? It's called a FAFSA ID. So it's a FAFSA ID. And what it is the ID is actually a username and a password, but they just call it a FAFSA ID. It used to be called FAFSA PIN. Now they call it FAFSA ID, same thing still though. It's been 12 years. Do I still need to use the same PIN? You can still use the same PIN if you know your password. If you don't know your password, you cannot use the same PIN unless you do a reset, get all of that information updated.
Yeah. Ms. Robinson, can I stop for a second? So this is very fast for me. How are we getting the PIN? We go to the FAFSA website and create a PIN there? I must have missed that.
Yep, you must go to the FAFSA website and create a PIN. So let me type that in the chat.
Okay. Also that I'm going to need, I would like to have a one-on-one with you and create, set up a meeting or something.
Okay, yep. So just go to my calendar. She put the link in there. So here's how this works. If you're in need of me assisting you, let me walk you through how it works. So I'm gonna stop share the screen really quick. If I can get it to stop share. All right. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna take you to my website and show you. When you come to my website, you hover over contact. And then it says book online. Now, this is the next step after you have already hit the link that was in the chat. So Rain, if you would put the link in there again, the link is for a single. If you're a one-parent household, you hit the single. If you're a two-parent household, you hit the married. Opened it up on your feed. And so your URL, so it can already be on your computer. And then you have the payment link. You must first make a payment. Then when you make the payment, you're going to get an email. That email is going to tell you to click this link to go to my calendar. That email is also going to tell you to click this link and create your FAFSA ID. It's going to take you directly to the website, to the link, so that you don't have to guess anything. It's going to take you there. Then when you're done, you're going to book your appointment. You book your appointment on my schedule. If you book your appointment and you haven't paid, the calendar will knock your appointment out. And then someone else will wind up booking and you'll think you have that appointment and you don't. It will only keep your appointment in the box if you have already scheduled your payment and then you got that email and then you clicked from that email, okay? So please schedule your payment first to secure so you can book time on my calendar and then that time will be allotted to you. Okay, and so it's a 1 hour time frame for FAFSA only, not for you to ask me extra college questions or try and ask me about your child's essay. That's not what this session is about. It is literally for us to only get on, put in your FAFSA information, and boom, we're off. So if we're done in 10 minutes, we're off in 10 minutes. It's not a session for me to answer a bunch of additional questions. That's not what the FAFSA session is for. It is strictly for the FAFSA only. Any other college questions, you need to schedule a college-bound family meeting, which is a fee also, but you would do that on my website. If I claim my daughter every other year, will that affect how much money she's able to receive? So remember, the person doing the FAFSA must be the person claiming the child. So you can't do that every other year thing unless you're going to swap her off onto her father that particular year on the FAFSA. So the person doing the FAFSA must be the person claiming their children, okay? So please keep that in mind and remember that part. So, once you hover over, it'll say contact book online. You scroll down, you can see it here. It says FAFSA consultation, married household, FAFSA consultation, single home. Let's say you miss getting the link. If you hit read more, it will take you to the next screen. You go to the next screen, you scroll down, here's the payment link. You can just copy it and paste it into a URL. It'll take you to the payment on another feed. Once you do that, you can stay in this same screen and then go back up and hit book now, and then you find your time on my calendar. Now, let me give you a reality of what my calendar is looking like for FAFSA, because I don't want any misconception. I don't want you to go in and say, Ms. Robinson, oh my God, your calendar's booked. I told you parents don't play when it's FAFSA season because they know they need help and they don't want to try and do it on their own. What you see here in black is what's still left on my calendar in October. So what you see here in black, these bold numbers, these are the numbers that I still have appointments left for FAFSA on these dates. Then you can go into November, and these are the appointments I have available in November. Very slim, right? Because it's the holiday. Now you click December. I have absolutely nothing open in the month of December for anything. So you won't be able to file FAFSA with me in the month of December. So keep that in mind. I'll be back in January, and then you can get back with me and we can start filing your FAFSA in January if you haven't already done it. But remember, I said Thanksgiving is the best date by, Christmas at the latest, but please do not go past January 31st, no later than February, because remember, I said March 1st is what? The deadline. So any questions about that? Any questions about anything you need help? If your student is, I'm going to stop share. If your student is a senior and you have not already started navigating the college process, and you know your student is not doing what they're supposed to do, and you feel like you need help with that, we've dropped the link in there for you to know more about our College Bound program, because someone asked in the chat directly to me. You can see that program there as well. Any other final questions, you can drop them in the chat or come off of mute. My last and final question for you is you will get a thank you email. I'm going to go ahead and give you the recording for 24 hours. To you for 24 hours for you to rewatch if you need to, so that you can have the information. After 24 hours, we will delete the recording down and we'll put it on our website. You can purchase it. Now, what I do know is I hope that I gave you something that gave you a little bit of feeling like, okay, I got this. I need her or I don't need her. I learned something new. I got something out of this. If you would put hearts or stars or some kind of emoji in the feed, that makes me know that I've done what I was supposed to do tonight. Or you could even say, thank you, I know I've done what I'm supposed to do. I want to make sure I give what I said I would give, and that is to help you to understand about the FAFSA and to make sure you have everything you need to navigate the FAFSA. Again, you'll get a thank you email. There'll be links in the email to try and help you and assist you. If you need us for the FAFSA, don't hesitate. I showed you my calendar. Don't wait, because I have tonight's masterclass, which had 50 something parents on here. And tomorrow I'm doing a whole senior class at a high school. So, and it's a FAFSA masterclass. So you can imagine those parents are going to want the same help that you want, because they're in the same space as you are in. So please don't hesitate, take action. Please don't try and do this application on your own if you have any inkling that you are not sure. I do not want you to miss out on money. That is so important. You will not get that back. We do not want you to miss money. Even if your kid never has to go through be one of my shining stars. They are my shining stars because you're already on here, but they never have to be one of my direct shining stars. I don't want to ever see any parent miss out on any money, because that money could be towards your retirement and your savings. You don't want to have to spend that on educating your child if you can get it for free. That is my ultimate goal, to help families do this right so they can maximize and get as much money as possible because that's important. The FSA ID and FAFSA ID, it's the FAFSA ID. So it's FAFSA. I know I say it kind of fast, but it's FAFSA. And I'm going to type it in the chat so that everybody knows the acronym. So it's FAFSA. It's the ID PIN. Yes, same thing. It's not different. Any final questions, comments, anything? You can type it in the chat or come off of mute. We have like 1 more minute because I was hoping we were going to get out of here no later than 8:15, 8:30. And I think that we've definitely got all the information. Now, if you're on social media, please connect with us on social media. We share information every day, all day. We don't let you miss any due dates on testing, scholarships, anything. We're on social media at S for S College Bound. I will type that in the chat as well. Please connect with us on Instagram and on Facebook. We're S for S College Bound. You can hang out with us over there on social media where we're always posting information. If you're a parent and you're a mom, and this is always extra, just kind of, because I like to connect with the moms sometimes even more. If you're a mom, I'm a whole nother person on a whole nother platform as a mother. And as a woman, you can connect with me on my social media as Regina Robinson Speaks. So I am on both platforms. I'm on all platforms with that. And so you can connect with me there as well. I'm going to type it in correctly, actually. And there was someone coming in for.
Hey, Regina, it's Nikki. I have a question again.
Uh-huh.
So now if instead of now where you're returning for sophomore year and now you're only just putting in that one school. So when FAFSA is being submitted, now are they still looking at for additional money, still scholarships?
So remember when you put in, so parents, oh, and this is another thing that, thank you, Nikki, for bringing that up. You must complete the FAFSA every year your child is in college from this year forward. There is please don't forget that October 1st, every year until your child graduates, you must submit the FAFSA. So Nikki's student is a freshman this year, so she's gonna be a sophomore next year. And so she needs to complete the FAFSA for next year, right now in October, although she just did the FAFSA, what it would seem like she did, because her daughter is a freshman. So when they get that FAFSA, they're going to look at everything again. If there are more, remember, there's more loans to give. So the grants go up every year, the loans go up every year. So let's say if your child is taking loans, it's $5,500 freshman year, but it goes up sophomore year so they can borrow even more money. So that's how they're re-looking at everything. So that's what that means. Her GPA could be higher now that she's there and doing very well. If they have some endowment money that they maybe didn't have freshman year, they can add that on there too.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yep.
So Regina, if you book the appointment, do you send a link out later on?
So when you get the emails, yep, the links are in there when you get the email.
Oh,
Okay,
okay,
thank you. Put it in there, the link for you to join me on Zoom. Yes, it's coming.
Okay,
So
thank
remember,
you.
we'll be on Zoom, so you'll get your link. You won't get a bunch of reminders. You're just going to get your link. If you miss your meeting, you forfeit and you have to pay a rebooking fee. So please show up for your meetings because we give you everything you need to show up.
Okay, thank you.
If I filed married jointly, but my husband is not my child's father, do I include his income too? Unfortunately, it doesn't subtract back out. So yes, it will. If you filed married on your actual FAFSA, then yes, it does include his, because remember, it's the retrieval. It's going to suck out whatever you put in and drop it right into your FAFSA. Any other questions, comments, anything? Now is the time. You can jump off mute, ask anything you have.
I have a question, please.
Yes,
My husband passed in 2021. Yes, so when we filed our taxes, I used his income. I guess I'm a little confused because he always did the FAFSA when my daughter was in college. But she's graduated and, she's on her own in grad school. But my son is a senior. Do I file under me as FAFSA and not him, even though our tax returns is joint for 2021?
So first and foremost, my condolences to you and your family.
Thank you.
Secondly, that when you so because your FAFSA is already, because your taxes are already in the IRS database, right? In the IRS now for that particular year, and that's the year they're going to use, right? You
Yes.
are going to be the one that reach out to financial aid. And all of that is going to change. You need to call them and submit to them to all the schools she's applying to.
Oh, no. What, right, my son, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, your son, all the schools he's applying to, you need to familiarize yourself with someone at the financial aid office at each one of those schools. And you need to explain to them early on so they can give you the direction of what they're going to want you to submit so that they can rectify all of your information. That's an important step you are not gonna wanna miss, especially if your husband was making more money and now he's gone and your family dynamics financial system has changed and shifted differently, then you want to make sure you don't miss out on doing that.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
unfortunately, it's nothing you can do now to go back and change that tax return. But they will probably most likely ask you for his death certificate, a copy of it, right, for you to prove. And then they're going to ask for your, are you working?
Yes.
They're gonna ask for your stubs or W-2 or whatever the case might be, so that they can look at what you're now earning.
Okay.
Okay, now let me ask you this really quick though, and I know everybody's like, oh my God, y'all getting deep, but if you are still, if you make more money than your husband reported when he did that, I'm asking that.
2021, he only worked, he got sick in
No, so it's not about what he worked. Do you think you made more money now that you would report to them than he reported on the IRS already in the tax return?
Probably. Yes.
Okay, then I wouldn't, if it was me, I wouldn't make the phone call yet. I would prepare that stuff when she's a sophomore. I'm sorry, when he's a sophomore, because if so, then now that's going to change. So if he was able to get some money based off of what his father had in the tax return, now he would not, because you're going to have to put all that information in there, because they'll ask about the second parent. You could say deceased and all of that, but they already have what's in the IRS, and that's the taxes they go for, unless they ask you for the information and then you provide it.
Okay, because my daughter graduated in 2021. So she graduated 2021.
Mhm.
He did the FAFSA for that year for her. She graduated that May. He got sick in April, and then he passed in July.
Okay.
So she's in grad school on her own. So it's
Okay.
just my son that's a senior.
Yes.
'Cause I know-
But he did last year's tax return is strictly, is it just his information or you and his information?
It's both. It's
Okay.
both.
So then they're gonna already so then yes, you do need to reach out to them then, because you want them to pull back his income. He's not here. So you want them to pull back his income, because at this point, what they see is that you're a 2-income family household, and that's not true
Correct. It's not.
anymore.
Okay.
So then yes, you do need to reach out and let them know that your husband is deceased. They're gonna ask for probably his death certificate and any other information. Just provide it to them, go along with it, and they will look at it they'll look at it from a different perspective for your son.
Okay, because I know IRS already flagged him as deceased.
Okay, so that's perfectly fine. Yep, when you go in, but when they pull your information, they might just automatically pull your information, and you might be a problem where they won't let you transfer your information directly. You'll have to input your information manually. If that's so, then just go ahead and do your stuff manually off of your tax return. So if the IRS has a flag on your account, they might not let you transfer your information over into the actual FAFSA directly.
Right, because he was one that was doing, I guess, head of household.
Yep. So then that's a possibility. Yep. So you're going to probably have to manually put all your numbers in, but that's something you'll have to get to when you get to it on the FAFSA when you're in there.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. Any other questions, comments, feedback, anything? You can jump off mute, and now is the time before we jump off.
Hi, I have a question.
Yes.
Can you please review again the FAFSA requirements regarding students' income? Because I know they asked for students' income, and does that also include savings that the student might have? Like, for instance, my son's grandmother opened up a savings account for him years ago, and she's been putting money in, so her name and his name are on the account.
Okay, so for those of you who stayed around, it always pays to stay to the end. I promise you, sometimes it really does, because I didn't even say this during the thing, but I'm going to say it now. So now all of you who are left will know this, but now you didn't hear Ms. Robinson said it, but you heard her say it, but you didn't hear her say it, okay? Because you can make your own decisions now. Ms. Robinson don't make decisions for you. She's just giving you nuggets, okay? Now, here we go. The FAFSA only knows what's on the FAFSA can only account for what the IRS reports. The IRS does not report bank accounts, still do they? Okay, so if they're asking if your student has money, we all know how our children are. They go to the mall all the time. They go out on their little social events. Their little bank account could be empty in no time, right? Without us even knowing it. By the time we look again, the balance is zero. And we don't put that they got all this money. So if the question says, does your child have a savings account? Put information in, you say zero. Does your child has a checking account? You say zero. They can't see it if it's not a part of the IRS. They ask you how much money do you have in your checking account or savings account? Well, what I know is if you live in a home, the roof can blow off tomorrow, and guess what? You have to pay for that. That's about $15,000. Where are you going to get it from? You have to go to your savings account and get it, right? And so therefore, you can put down $15,000 that you have if you want, but if your roof fall off tomorrow, you don't have $15,000. So how much do you maybe have in your bank account? It's not $15,000. So that's all Ms. Robinson going to say on that one. Now, when it comes to whether your child has made too much money, there is a guideline of how much money your children can make under before they file taxes, as long as they fall under that threshold. Again, don't have them file taxes, because if they do, you must submit it into the FAFSA. But if they don't, you do not have to submit what they've earned in the FAFSA. So the FAFSA database, the IRS database is only what you put on your taxes. When you go in there in the retrieval, it will cross over, it will ask you for information, it'll go into the IRS will come back into the FAFSA, drop numbers. You won't even see the numbers that they drop. They're pulling it electronically from your taxes and putting it into the FAFSA, and it's blind there. That means there's nothing there, but there is something there. They don't show you what's there. So that was to answer Linda's question in the chat.
Thanks.
Oh, you guys are welcome.
Ms. Robinson, just really quick. I hope I did this correctly. So if I paid first, you remember the link that you put in earlier saying if you wanted to do something, and I think I opened it up in my URL and it kind of just brought up all of like the credit card information, your name, your billing address and stuff. That's where you put that you'll see that. And then when we go into book, you'll see that and marry it. Is that how that works? I just wanted to make sure I'm doing it in two different.
Okay, so let me show you where I think you went first. So you are actually on the, you are actually here. Let me see.
I did this page second.
Okay, so you're actually here. You saying this page second, but you know I can't see your screen.
Right, I'm sorry. Yeah,
So,
yes, that's yes.
You go
yes.
here and you see this first and you fill in this information, right?
Yes, I did.
The minute you hit submit, you should have gotten a pop-up on your screen. When you hit submit, it should have popped up and there's information right there to tell you to go to the calendar, to tell you about your link. And then in a few minutes, you're going to get another email. It might go to your spam, people. So please check your spam. There'll be another email repeating the exact same thing you saw on the pop-up when you paid. But if you missed it and it's already went down, it's going to come in an email. But if you want to just go ahead, then you go to the website, which is here, and then you will go to contact, book online, and click that. You'll scroll down and find the FAFSA that matches you, whether you were married or single, and I'm not sure. You will click here and just say book it. Now you can just go straight to it and say book it. And then the calendar is going to pop up. And you're going to find the dates on the calendar that match what your time matches. So you just click over, go to October or November, whatever your tax information and you're planning, you put in the date, you choose the date, you choose the time, it's going to come to me. I'm going to already see that you paid, then I'm going to get an email saying you booked my time. There is important information in that email though, because that email asks you to fill out the FAFSA intake form. That intake form allows you to give me your information ahead of time, your ID, your FAFSA ID and your PIN and your student's information, so that by the time we get on Zoom, I've already logged in and I'm ready when you get on. Because I have your information.
Okay, and you saying that'll come, because I did receive one email from you. It's just showing that it was paid.
So
I
that's
have
your receipt. Yep, that's your
that's the
receipt.
receipt,
Yep,
yeah.
and then another email is gonna come with your actual, it's a thank you email, and it gives you information. So check for that email probably within the next hour or so. And
Okay,
check your spam to make sure it didn't go to your spam.
okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, any other comments, anything before we jump off? Yes.
Yes, I just have a quick question. So in the chat, you said that if you're remarried and if you're remarried and you file married but single, you don't have to put your spouse's information, correct?
Yep,
Okay,
correct.
so this is where I need clarification because when I did my daughter's FAFSA, she's a freshman this year at St. Mary's. When I did her FAFSA, it would not let me bypass without putting in my husband. It says step parent. That's what it was asking for, like step parent information.
Step parent, yes.
It would not allow me to not include his information, even though we filed separate, but we're married.
Well, that's because you said you were married. So now here's the deal. The retrieval is going to pull out that you filed separate, right? That you filed by yourself at a household or whatever you filed. But the FAFSA is going to ask you. So if you automatically choose you're married, then you automatically got to finish the rest of the information. However, they're only taking that information. They're not taking his income. They only ask you his name and social security and his date of birth. I think is probably what they're going to ask. That's it for him, but they're not asking for his income.
Okay, so technically, when I redo her FAFSA this year, can I just go back in and just unselect married and just put single?
But or
do I have to keep it as married? Like, because I don't want them to be like, what are you trying to do? You put married last year, but
so they'll flag you. They will flag you.
Right.
They'll flag you. Okay. So just because they wouldn't let you bypass it last year, remember when you didn't bypass it last year? Did you file separate and single last year?
Yeah, we've always been doing that for the past.
Okay, so then you were still the same thing. You were okay. Whatever they gave you based off of you being separate and single. I mean, being filed and single. So it's the same thing because if you switch up now, they are going to flag you.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. That was so helpful.
You're welcome. Any other final questions? If not, thank you guys so much for tuning into the FAFSA Masterclass. For those of you who hung out even longer, I hope you got more gems, more information, everything you needed. Everything was great. And remember, you'll get a response email, follow-up email. It should be two. One, the first one won't be the link in the first one. The second one will have the recording link and you can watch the recording and it'll be for 24 hours. Also, the links will be in there for you to register if you need assistance with the FAFSA. Again, please, if you need assistance and you're not sure, do not hesitate. Click the button, apply. I promise you a little investment that you're paying will well reward you for not messing up on your FAFSA. I promise you that. And so again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Take time to leave us a testimonial in the email. Thank you for the link that will be included in there. We value you and we look forward to you joining us for future master classes. I know most of you have seniors, so stay tuned. I'll be doing master classes in April and May to help you navigate all of those financial aid award letters, figure out what's coming next, and we'll also introduce to you our college transition mentor program, which is for high school students going into college, where we travel with them through college, whether they're with us when they're in high school or not. We'll introduce that in our spring master classes, so stay tuned. You'll get emails about that. And also check out our college tours that are coming up in the fall. We have 3 different college tours going out. Check our website for that. We would love for your students to join us so they can lay eyes on their college campuses. All of those tours will be done in the fall, next month in October, and 2 in November. Have a blessed night, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.